Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Nev's Garage. Now if this is your first time joining us here, please hit that old subscribe button. And also toggle on that little bell. That way you'll be notified when our next video drops. Don't worry about that now though, because today I'm going to be fitting this sound shield under bonnet heat and sound proofing mat to the Subaru Vortex. Now we know this stuff's pretty good because we did it recently to the WRX, and if you're a watcher of the show you would have caught that episode. If not, better rewind the tape, go and check it out, it's a must watch. But that's enough to do about that. Let's pop the hood on the old girl, see what we're working with. Oh yeah, so look, the factory mat, although it's still there, it's not in very good nick. Couldn't really expect much more from it though, after being 32 years old. She's a bit of a veteran. So although it's still there, it really only covers about, well, when you consider the opening for the air scoop, probably about 30% of the bonnet, probably, maybe a little bit more. So not only are we going to renew it and make it look all tidy, we're going to make it cover more of the bonnet, keep more of that heat and sound underneath the bonnet. Alright, so first of all, we're going to want to whip this whole bad boy off the car. So let's get stuck into that. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is put the bonnet in high mode, right? So it's a little bit easier to work on. Alright. Okay, now we can get under it a bit better. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to mark around the position of the hinges, right? So it's easier to put back in the same spot later. Right, and do the other side as well. Like that. Alright, so what we want to do now is get some nice hefty bits of cardboard and just put under the corner of the bonnet here so it doesn't drop down and damage anything, or especially not slip back against the screen. Okay, so let's put something in here like this. Like that. Custom cut bespoke bits of cardboard. How cool's that? Alright, lovely. Now we're going to loosen the bonnet and lift it off. Alright guys, so it's time to whip it off. Now for this part you're probably going to want a friend, okay? Unless you've got super strong multiple arms that you can grab both sides of the bonnet with and really limber around like you're playing car yoga. Get a mate, alright? Got our Milwaukee impact gun. Just going to leave that one in there finger tight, right? While we whip the other ones out. You good?
Mm-hmm.
Use the old noggin for a support on this side now. Like that. Put the prop down and off she comes. All right, you ready? Oh, you're nailing it. All right, guys. So here's the bonnet, right? Got it off the car. Got it sitting on a timber plank so the corners don't get damaged on the concrete. Set out some blankies here to sit it on, right? So now let's lay it down and we can start prepping the inside of the bonnet, shall we? Lovely, lovely. Okay, so now it's nice and secure and protected so we can work on it. All right, so we're going to start by popping out the retainers, all right? We're just going to use these Toledo trim retainer removers. All right, all the clips are off now, so now I can try and get the old matting off, which it looks like I've glued down at some stage. All right, so this stuff is fiberglass, so I'm just going to don a mask and a pair of gloves and try and remove it. All right, guys, I reckon we can start washing it now. Let's do that. So a bit of prep wash and this old pillowcase should do the trick. Don't tell wifey. All right, guys, so it's really clean now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to adjust the vent mesh a little. I'm just going to trim it back so that the under bonnet matting has a little bit more purchase on some of this webbing, because this grille doesn't need to be this wide. So I'm just going to take it off, crop a little bit off the bottom here, and then I reckon we're pretty good to go. I'll probably paint it too while it's off, okay? All right, so I've got a little bit better shape on the vent mesh now. So I'm going to take it off, deburr all the edges, repaint it so it's nice and clean while I'm prepping the rest of the bonnet. All right, guys, so it's all pretty well cleaned up now. Now, I got a lot of the old adhesive here that I put on, which was quick rip. Used some Bendix brake cleaner, right? And I'm going to wash the whole bonnet down with this brake cleaner now. The reason we're using brake cleaner to do this is because it leaves zero residue. It's, well, if you can spray it on brakes, it gives you the full picture, doesn't it? So you've got to be careful what paintwork you put it on. I certainly wouldn't wash the outside of my car with it, but it's just going to just slightly etch the bottom so the matting will stick properly. All right, so let's do that now. Make sure you don't get any splash on the good paintwork. Any blowback or anything. And we're just going to wipe the whole thing down. Okay, now that that's done, I'm going to just quickly touch up the bare patches so that there's no chance of it rusting underneath the matting later on. Just going to spray on some etch primer. Just got a hole in a piece of cardboard here, going to use as a masking card. Alright guys, here is the new old mesh with the new paint. Looks pretty schmick. Old Purdy. Let's screw it back on. Alright guys, well, we're ready for the matting. And she looks pretty sweet. It's all prepped. So let's go get the material and we'll see what we're looking at. Now I went about it a little differently this time. I took it out of the box last night and had it laying on the roof of my car so that it helps it sort of flatten out and take some of the folds out of it, which it has. So let's just size it up, see how we're going to go about putting it on. Alright, so I think I'll start cutting now. I'll leave this edge a natural edge like that. And we'll bring it back to about here. Alright, here we go. Alright, so I'm going to start from this edge and go that way. I'm going to use the edge as my datum and we'll trim and shape as we go. So, alright, here goes. Alright, so it's looking really sweet. Now, probably don't need to cover this part because it only covers the void between the radiator support panel and the front bar, but I reckon I'll trim it off pretty nice. So, this is some I had left over from the WRX bonnet. I think I'll just cut it to sort of shape and stick it on here. What do you guys reckon? Okay. Well, that doesn't look too bad. So we're almost done. I've got to cut holes for the bonnet rods now, where the bonnet gets held up, and then we're pretty much finished once I sort of tidy up some edges and that. Alright, so that's looking pretty good now. So I'm just going to tidy up some of the edges where it's a bit raggedy with the knife blade, okay? So I'm just going to use my propane torch. Heat the blade up and just melt the foam into shape just to tidy up the edges. Alright, that's looking pretty good now. All the edges are sharp. Now, this here is where the power steering cap fits. Okay, so I've cut a hole in this one and I'm going to stick another layer on the actual bonnet skin. So I'm just going to cut out a circle to insert into there. Like that. Cool. Alright. Looks pretty darn good, I reckon. So how about we get it back on the car? Let's mount it up. Okay, so now it's just a matter of lining up where the bonnet was, and that should be pretty safe to drop it down then. She looks pretty good. So I got my Milwaukee impact on auto torque, right? So that just runs the bolts in till about 10 Newton meters and then it'll automatically stop. So I can torque it up by hand, okay? So I'm just going to lift it till I can see the marks. And same on this side. I'm just going to back them off and set them now. Okay, take our cardboard out. And we'll just lower it down and see how it fits on the body. Okay, this side. Okay, this side. Yep. And yep. I reckon that's pretty good. Okay, so now that it closes good, maybe we see how it sounds. How nice is that? Very nice. That car hasn't been started for about 4 weeks. Beautiful. Let's just check out the difference between bonnet open and bonnet closed. So bonnet open, bonnet closed, bonnet open, bonnet closed. It sounds nice and solid too. Doesn't sound all hollow. Let's just have a final look at how it ended up. Put the rod back here in the normal position. There we are. It's pretty tidy, eh? I mean, the joint doesn't look the best. The grain's going the other way, but who cares? Nice clean edges. And moulded to the shape of the bonnet well. I reckon that's a good job. Alright guys, well, thank you for sticking around and watching the whole episode. Please jump on Instagram and like and follow us there. And make sure you subscribe to our channel so you can get the latest videos from Nev's Garage. Anyway, that wraps up this episode. See you next time.